Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. We're back with another Conquest model, and this is the first I have gotten for the newest faction from the game, that is the City-States. And today we are going to be looking at the Polemarch. Now, for those of you astute viewers or fans of Conquest itself, you'll notice that we're back to the smaller boxes, but then again, I realize this is a resin model, so maybe that's going to be a thing moving forward, is that the resin figures that are character models are going to have these thicker, more durable, matchbox style containers, whereas the plastics are going to have the longer, thinner, flatter ones. So, not a whole lot of exciting stuff other than the fact that we can get a better look at the model itself. You can see he's got what looks to be all kinds of cybernetics or robotics on there. And then like a little human face. I don't know what the deal is exactly, if he's a robot, if he's a human, or somewhere in between. Like, I can't tell if that is a skin tone or if it's painted the same color as his mask. That hand is definitely mechanical looking. Interesting, interesting. And as always, we do have the QR codes if you want to find out more about the game, and if you don't want to use the QR codes when you buy these, then you're more than welcome to use the link down below, because it's been like how many videos of these I've done, and they're always there. Every video, just about. Now, I have enjoyed quite immensely all of the resin models that I have built from Conquest. I may not have painted every single unit in resin, and the only one I can think of off the top of my head would be the bow chosen for the Nords, but just about every other resin kit from them I think I have built. So you can see here, like the hydraulics of his arm, ornateness of the armor. Thankfully it's very different looking than all the other factions so far. Oh, what's this? Besides a mess of resin crumbs, he actually has an alternate arm with a very bent sword. I was thinking maybe do the sword, but I don't know. That spear looks a lot nicer, and that's a very fancy looking spear. Shield. No hand on the back. That's a plus if you wanted to go and attach it to somewhere else. I swear this guy's got to be a mech. Look at that. It's just like all hydraulics and pistons and junk in there. His head. This is what I really want to see, the body. I mean, they're obviously very Greek in their stylings. And again, see, check out all those pistons on his legs. Check out all that flash I'm going to have to clean up too. It's actually kind of a shame he's not in plastic, but I'm not going to fault them for wanting to give it to us in resin. He's got a nice little decorative edge on his cape there. And I really like their paint job. I got to say, thumbs up to the artists who painted that model. I like it. I really like it, and I'm totally going to copy it, because at least this looks doable. It's a shame. I really liked the guy that did all of the artwork for the earlier boxes. Guy that did like the Dark Age artwork and stuff. I want to say he might have done art for Deep Wars too. Definitely Dark Age. Anyway, this is a fairly simple, straightforward build. So I'm going to go ahead. I will get him all put together. And I'm going to go grab a bunch of other stuff. Maybe I can go find some tiny little Victrix Greeks to have, flee and terror from this guy. First thing I keep thinking of, and I'll probably mention this again in the other half of the video in a sec after that commercial break, is that this totally, with his whole look and vibe going on and just the bigness of the Conquest models in general, I'm thinking, like, this is the perfect model to go bust out for another old game of Gods and... what was it called? Gods and Heroes? Gods and Monsters? Of Gods and Mortals! That's it. Eventually I'll get it right. From Osprey. It was made by Andrea from Ganesha. He did it for Osprey. Anyway, okay. Stop talking. Go build. We'll be back in a sec. So sit tight. Alrighty, folks, we got the Polemarch all cleaned up and glued together here. And you can take a look, and obviously he is ready for the table. I had a hard time with that cape. Let me be clear with everybody. I'm not 100% sure I finally got it on correctly. I had to keep staring at the cover and finally realized that his spear needs to be underneath the cape right behind his foot, and, you know, with a couple of strategic drops of glue, that'll probably help keep everything locked in, attached to each other, and just that extra bit of support. I did try putting him together with his gladius short sword, whatever. I know gladius would be more of a Roman term than a Greek one. Not that either of those matter for our city-state friends, being that they are fantasy races of cyborg, steampunkish dudes. But it just looked kind of weedy and sad even after I straightened it out. And I did do a decent job, at least, of straightening out his sword in comparison to his spear, which is actually nice and sturdy and rigid, the way it should be. And very fancy, I must say. I'm quite looking forward to getting this guy painted, even if it's just going to be a really simple paint job. I did end up messing up the bottom of his shield, getting that support off where it was cast. It didn't really cooperate with me, and that's more on me than anything else. So yeah, I wish his sword had been just a little bit larger, and I'm still not 100% sure if those are actual. The more I look at it, I thought they were originally supposed to be feet, but I'm thinking that they're molded on, like intentionally, like molded armor in the shape of toes. At least that's what I'm going to paint it as. I'll probably go look at some more painted examples as soon as I remember where I put the box. I have no idea now. Hopefully I still have it. So I told you I wanted to try posing him. I actually busted out my old Gods and Mortals rulebook, and I gotta say, I feel like this range, the city-states in general, is just going to be perfect for that. In fact, I went ahead and ordered myself a box of the Hoplites for that very reason, just to see what they were like. And they have a bunch of random cybernetic limbs in there as well, and semi-fancy spears, not as fancy as this guy. And I can't help but wonder, why not put them in plastic? It seems like kind of they could have done a really quick bang-up job. I mean, you know, guys like the... oh god, the Hecadontaries, or I don't even know. No, that's not the right name. Hyriodual or something. This dude, whatever, some of the Old Dominion, I mean, almost all the Old Dominion character models were done in plastic. You know, the Zilliarch, who I can't seem to hold correctly. There we go. This was done in plastic. The priestly guy, whose name is escaping me at the moment, he was done in plastic. I mean, all of the models for the Old Dominion, for the most part, are plastic. I don't see anything about this that couldn't have been recreated in plastic. So, you know, I mean, the price isn't that much different, so I'm not going to complain. I'd say if it was a bit more elaborate, that would have made more sense. You know, some of the stuff like the Wadroon heroes, that I can see. They are a bit more elaborate in their getup and just the quantity of resin involved as well. Grabbing a human-sized... that's actually a bit of a difference there. Wow. Scale creep much? Or, I mean, I know that this guy's supposed to be like big hero, you know, showing up on the battlefield type. Man, that 100 Kingdoms noble is just absolutely dwarfed. Poor guy. I said I was going to get some Victrix guys in here. I don't know where my Greeks are. I know I have some Greeks. Like, I know it's a Roman, but it's close enough in terms of, at least, he's got a toga, he's got a helmet, he's got a spear-like device. I know the pilum is not technically a spear. I'm not going to get into it. I know somebody's like, well, actually, but anyway. You can see that, I mean, for Gods and Mortals at least, getting back on my original tangent of what I was going to talk about before I got sidetracked by something, the discrepancy in size for these kinds of figures, I think, is great in that sense. You know, you have a bunch of weedy, lowly, you know, peon infantry versus the grand, heroic, you know, infused with the blood of the gods type heroes. So, something to definitely think about. Grabbing a more recent human, one of the hunter cadre for the 100 Kingdoms. Maybe this guy's just small in general. I will have to track down some of my other 100 Kingdoms resins. I have them all tucked away at the moment. Grabbing a GW model. I don't know why. I can't think of any very outwardly Greek-looking figures that GW's put out other than there's a Warcry warband whose name is escaping me at the moment that I've yet to finish painting. Those guys have kind of a Greek motif going. Grabbing one of the Karis from the Old Dominion as well. I see these guys as vaguely Egyptian in theme. Name sounds very Egyptian as well. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But I think overall, this is a nice little introductory model for me to the city-states. I would love to get my hands on the version. There is an alternate version of him that was included in the new version of the two-player starter set. So once upon a time, we had those original starter sets on this channel, and actually those got a lot of views. But the new version of the starter set is city-states versus the Nords, of which we've got plenty. And I actually don't have any out and about right now. That's kind of a surprise. That's like my most painted faction. I even put the Volvo away. The Volvo. I'm going to put her. Anyway, we'll have some Valkyries from the Nords coming up on the channel in the near future, at least as of the time of me posting this. If you're watching this in the future, then maybe they're already up there. And if not, you can always take a look. We have a huge backlog of Conquest models for those of you who are interested in checking them out, as well as the game. And if you are interested in checking out the game, well, by all means, please do. It does have those rules for both skirmish mode and big rank and file pileups, if that's your kind of thing. There is quite a variety of races and factions, as you can see, and that only seems to continue to grow. So if any of that sounds like interesting stuff to you, by all means, do check out those links that we usually have at the bottom, and we always will, because chances are you'll find something you might enjoy. So with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.